Hello everyone, my name is Goyal and this is lecture 2 of quadratic equation and quadratic inequalities. As I told you in previous lecture, this chapter contains so much weightage, 6 to 7 marks of this chapter comes have weightage in board classes, right? So in previous class we learned about quadratic equations and quadratic polynomials, right? What is the general standard form of quadratic equation, quadratic polynomial, okay? Okay, now in this chapter we are going to learn about solving equations by middle term splitting. See, there are some methods to solve quadratic equation. See, what is the meaning of solving quadratic equation? We wants to find the value of that variable which satisfy that equation. For example, if there is a quadratic equation x minus 1 whole square is equals to 0. So as we know that we can open that polynomial by using the identity of a minus b whole square, which is a square minus 2ab plus b square, right? So if I use this identity while solving this equation, so what I get, x square minus 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation. So it means what we wants to find the value of that x will satisfy this equation. It means that solving quadratic equation means what we wants to find the value of that variable. Okay, so if you see the quantity x minus 1 square is 0, then what is the value of x is equals to 1. See, if this quantity square is 0, so it means what this quantity is 0. So if x minus 1 is 0, then the value of x is 1. So solving quadratic equation is what we wants to find the value of that variable which satisfy that equation. Are you getting my point? Okay, now there are some methods to solve these types of equation. One of the method is middle term splitting. Okay, so in this lecture we are going to cover the topic which is middle term splitting, which is very important to solving quadratic equation. Okay, so now let's see what is the meaning of middle term splitting, right? Okay, now see, in order to factorize x square plus bx plus c, the quadratic equation which is in the form of x square plus bx plus c, है ना? अब आपके माइंड में एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि सर the quadratic equation is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0, right? So why we take as x square plus bx plus c? See, if we take a as 1, then it becomes like that, right? So there is no problem. Okay, so what we have to do, we if we wants to factorize this equation x square plus bx plus c, so what we need, we have to find numbers p and q such that p plus q is b and p into q is c. It means what, if we wants to factorize x square plus bx plus c, so what we have to do, we wants to find two numbers such that p and q whose product is this number, the number written here, the product is that, and the sign here, the sign is plus, so we can say that the addition of that two number is the middle number, that one. Are you getting my point? Okay, so what we have to do in middle term is splitting, if there is a quadratic polynomial equation, or we can say that equation x square plus bx plus c, so for factorizing this one, what we need, we need two numbers. We need two numbers whose product is this number and the sign over here which is plus, so that addition is that number. Okay, are you getting my point? Okay, so such that we can say that b is equals to p plus q and c is equals to pq. So now what we have to do, we have to put the value of b as p plus q and c as pq. If we put the value as b as p plus q, then see what it is, x square plus p plus qx plus pq, right? So it gives what, if we multiply x with p and x with q, so what we get, x square plus px plus qx plus pq, right? So you can see from the here we can take x common, it gives x plus p. From here we can take q common, x plus p over there, right? We got x plus p over there. Now if you see here, if you see x plus p is also with this term and also with this term, so we can take x plus p common, so it gives what, finally it gives what, x plus p into x plus q. Are you getting my point? Isn't it? So we can write this quadratic polynomial in the form of x square plus, if a quadratic polynomial or equation is the form of x square plus bx plus c. So after factorization, we can write down it as x plus p into x plus q. Okay. So this process, the process we followed this term is known as middle term splitting. Why it is middle term splitting? Because in this, what we do, we split this b into two parts. If you see over here, we split that b into two parts, right? If the sign here like px square plus bx minus c, अगर देखो यहाँ पे साइन नेगेटिव का है, then what we have to do, we have to find two numbers whose product is c and whose subtraction is b. Now it's totally depends on c only. Okay, ठीक है, ठीक है. Okay, now see, there is a video in which we are going to learn about how we solve quadratic, how we find, basically how we find quadratic one, right? So I can tell you how we so actually find that two numbers. Okay, how we find that two numbers. Okay, I will tell you. Okay, so now there is a question, factorize the quadratic expression, this one. So there is a quadratic expression x square plus 32x plus 20 to 40, right? Okay, now first of all we are going to start with a simple one, and a very simple one we are going to start with. Okay, now see, there is a quadratic polynomial x square, quadratic expression, we can say that x square plus 5x plus 6. So we want to factorize this one now, है ना? First we done with that, then we move to this one. Okay, now see, as I told you, if a quadratic expression is in the form of x square plus bx plus c, so what we need two numbers whose product is this number and the sum is 6, is 5. Okay, so what we need two numbers whose product is 6 and their sum is 5. Okay, so the best method to find that such numbers, you have to prime factorize that number, this number. आपको इसको क्या करना है, prime factorize करना है. तो you have to prime factorize 6, you will get 2, 3 and 3. Now that two numbers are going to be made with the help of these numbers. So 2 or 3, here you only get two prime factors, which is 2 and 3. So we can say that the numbers are 2 and 3. If you see, the product of 2 and 3 is 6 and the sum is 2 plus 3 is 5, right? Isn't it? So we got that two numbers whose product is 6 and sum is 5, right? So we can write down x square plus 5x plus 6 as what? X square plus 3 plus 2x plus 6. So it becomes x square plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. So I can take, now I can take x common from these two, it will gives x plus 3, and I can take plus 2 common from these two, it will gives again x plus 3. Now if you see over there, x plus 3 is with this one and with this one also, so we can take x plus 3 common, so it gives what, x plus 2, right? So now we can factorize this one to this one, so this can be written as what, x plus 3 into x plus 2. Okay, are you getting my point? Okay, now see, there is another one, this question. Now we want to factorize this one. Okay, now see, listen carefully. What we need two numbers whose product is 240 and whose sum is 32, है ना? हमें दो नंबर चाहिए जिसका p और q प्रोडक्ट क्या होना चाहिए, 240 should be 240 and the sum is should be 32, right? Okay, so कैसे निकाले? देखो यहाँ पे तो हमें दिख जाता है ना, we can easily interpret that the number should be 3 and 2. Now here it is little bit tough. Okay, I don't say that it is tough, little bit. Okay, with respect to this question, it is tough. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to prime factorize 240. So it is divisible by 2, it gives 120. It is again divisible by 2, it is gives 60, 2, 30, 2, 15, 3, 5 and 5 now. 1. Now the numbers are going to be made, the two numbers are going to be made by that number only. Okay. So what we have to do, see, what I take, 2 2s are 4, 4 3s are 12. So one number is 12 I take, and another number is 5 2s are 10 and 2 20. So we can take 20 and 12. If you see, the product of 20 and 12 is 240, and the sum of 20 and 12 is 32. So the required numbers are what? 12 and 32. So in the place of that 32, we can write 12 plus 20. So this becomes what? X square plus 12x plus 32, not 32, it will be 20, right? It will be 20 over there. Okay, not 32. Okay, okay, so it will becomes what? 20x plus 240 is equals to 0. Okay, so if you see, what we do, we can take x common from these two, right? So if I take x common, it will gives x plus 12. Now if I take 20 common over there, so what we get, x plus 12 over there is equals to 0, is equals to 0. Now if you see, x plus 12 is with this one and with this one also. So we can take now x plus 12 common. So if we take x plus 12 common, so what we get, x plus 20 over there, right? Not is equals to 0, it is not given that is equals to 0, so we cannot put is equals to 0. If this is a quadratic equation, then we have to put is equals to 0, but in this is a quadratic expression, so there is no need to put x is equals to 0. Okay, are you getting my point? Okay, so what we can say, that this quadratic expression can be written as, after factorization, is x plus 12 into x plus 20. Okay, okay. So now see, again we have an example. We got an example for parabolic curvature. Now you interpret that the curvature of this one is a parabolic, right? Now see, there is a footballer, right? He kicks a football. There is a football over there. He kicks a football, and the path traveled by football is like this. And this is the goal. This is the goal, okay? So we can say that the path traveled by that football is a parabolic path. Is a parabolic path. Okay, okay, so we can say that the path traveled by that football is a parabolic path. Okay, okay, so now this is the solution. Again we got the example for McDonald's sign. Okay, that part is what? A parabolic part. Okay, okay, so we got the same answer. Okay, this is the solution. Okay, next, now there are some practice question. Okay, so we are going to do two questions in class, and the rest of two is for your homework. You can practice at your home. Okay, okay, now for first question, if we are going to talk about for first question is what? X square minus 15x minus 216. Now over there, now see, there is a negative sign. If there is a negative sign, then what we have to do, we have to find two numbers whose product is 216 and whose difference is 15. What I told you, you have to find two numbers whose product is 216. P into Q is 216 and P minus Q is 15. It's totally depends upon this sign. If there is plus, then you have to find two numbers whose sum is 15, and if there is a negative sign, then you have to find two numbers whose subtraction, whose difference is 15. Okay, so we can take two number as P as 24 and Q as 9. If you see, 24 into 9 is what? 216, and 24 minus 9 is 15. Okay, so this can be written as minus 15 can be written as 24 minus 9x minus 216. So now this can be written as x square minus 24x minus minus become plus 9x minus 216. X we can take common, x minus 24 plus 9 we can take common, x minus 24. Now if you see x minus 24 comes common over there, so x minus 24 we take common, it becomes x plus 9 also, right? Are you getting my point? Okay, so this is what, this is the process of factorization of a quadratic expression by using the concept of middle term splitting. In this concept, what we do, we split the middle term. This is the middle term. We split this middle term into two parts, right? Then we grouping and then we take common. Okay, and we got our answer. Okay, for this one now we are going to factorize the second one. Okay, now see, for second one, expression is x square minus 39x plus 380. Okay, now what we need two numbers p and q whose product is 380 and sum is 39, isn't it? So if we are talking about that two numbers whose product is 380 and sum is 39, so p can be 19 and q can be 20. Numbers can be 19 and 20, right? So we can write down this as x square minus 20 x minus 19x plus 380. So now we can take x common. So it gives what, x minus 20 minus 19 common, it becomes again x minus 20, right? Now if you see here, what is given, x minus 20 also with this x and x minus 20 is also with this x. So now you can take x minus 20 common. Okay, so if you take x minus 20 common, then what you will get, x minus 19 over there, right? So this is what, this is the factorized form of this given quadratic expression. So similarly you can do these two questions. Okay, similarly you can do these two questions. Okay, answers of these questions, only the answer of these questions are given, only the answers of these questions are given. If you see, this is the answer for first one, this is the answer for second one. Now you have to solve these two. Okay, so what we learn in today's class, we learn about quadratic equation, we learn about how we factorize quadratic expression by using middle term splitting, right? And the main thing we learn, the parabolic path. This path is a parabolic path. Okay, okay, if there is a ball like that, if I released a ball from over there, so it will move like that. So the path traveled by that ball is what, a parabolic path. Okay, okay, so thank you so much. This is all about middle term splitting. Stay safe and enjoy. See you in the next lecture. Thank you so much. Bye.